What is going on, everybody? Today's video is a little bit off topic, not RuneScape, not Pokemon. Kind of has to do with the channel because it does have to do with my merch store, specifically how I make your guys' orders, t-shirts, and hoodies. I've got a lot of questions here and there about how I make them, where do they come from, do I buy them in bulk and resell them? The answer to that question is no. Jagex has a fan-made merchandise policy, which allows people to make stuff using their intellectual property, but it has to be made by them. It can't be one of those services where you list something on a website and if somebody orders one, it goes to a print shop, they print it, and then they ship it for the person. Nope, I don't do that. Everything is made in my office at home and shipped directly to you guys. If you haven't checked out the merch store, there is a link in the description below. I don't need to plug the merch store because this video is basically about the merch store and how I make your guys' stuff. So without further ado, let's get going and I'll show you the entire process of making a t-shirt. Specifically today, it is going to be the t-shirt menu t-shirt that you can find in my merch store. So obviously the first step is to actually design a t-shirt design, but that could be time consuming depending on what I'm designing, so I'm not showing that in this video. What you're seeing right here is what is called a DTF printer. And no, DTF does not mean what you think it does. It actually means direct to film. So this is a relatively new printing technology that allows for the transfer of printed designs onto t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, sweatshirts, pretty much anything you can think of that is wearable. If it is cotton, polyester, cotton polyester blends, different types of fabric, DTF works really well on a lot of stuff. So this printer right here prints onto a special kind of film that allows the ink to lay on this film. And then you will see there that there is a lot of white going on there. The white ink there lays down on the back of the design to really make those colors pop, especially on dark fabric. A lot of the t-shirts in my merch store I do offer in black, so definitely go through a lot of this white ink. But yeah, that's basically the process that's going on here. I don't want to explain too much. Basically, TLDR is printer prints out on film, cool design, apply to t-shirt. Once the print is done, there's a couple buttons on the side where I can feed the film out, and there's a little cutter on that tray there that allows me to cut the film, and this is what you're left with. So this is the design that will go on the t-shirt. So even though it's printed, it's not ready to stick to a t-shirt or a hoodie or anything like that. So the next step that I have to do is I come over here to my little bin, and this has DTF powder in it. Now this ink that lays down on the film is pretty sticky actually, and this powder is what is going to act as the adhesive to apply it to the t-shirt. So basically I just take my little scoop here, dump a bunch of powder on it, and then I start rolling the sheet back and forth to apply that powder to the design, which will allow it to stick to the t-shirt. Now there are machines out there that do this automatically, but they're like super expensive. So by hand it is for me. So now we've got the design printed, we've got the powder applied, now we have to bake it. Yes, like a cake, we gotta bake it. So this object that you're seeing here is the baking oven for the DTF film and powder. Now I will put this in here at 130 degrees Celsius for 3 minutes, 180 seconds there, you can see on the board. And the bottom of the oven gets very hot where the film lays, and you lay it with the film down so the adhesive is obviously not touching the element, otherwise it would melt to it. So yeah, it's gonna melt it, and then we will be ready to apply it to a t-shirt. All right, so after it's done, 3 whole minutes, I can then remove it, and it's nice and hot. I don't want to touch it immediately when it comes out, or it's not going to be fun. But yeah, once it comes out, you will see that the back of it is now really like kind of glossy. If you look at it really close and not on camera, it actually looks like orange peel, and that is exactly what it's supposed to look like before you put it on a t-shirt. All right, so now that our t-shirt design is all baked and stuff, it's time to put it onto the t-shirt that we're making for an order. So I'm going to turn my heat press on. You'll see I have 2 of them, obviously. Actually, one of them is my wife's. She does this stuff too for her own little side business. Different stuff, different style. But yeah, we have 2 of these, and I'm turning it on to 315 degrees for 15 seconds. All right, so the press is heated up 315 degrees, and I have one of those fancy heat presses where I can thread the t-shirt on here, so I'm only pressing one side of it and not all the way through it. So the next step, I'm going to grab my handy dandy lint roller here and lint roll the t-shirt, because we really don't want any kind of like loose fibers or like little fuzz balls or anything like that in between the adhesive of the graphic and the t-shirt. We want the t-shirt to be as clean as possible so we get a good adhesion, and that's going to mean that the t-shirt that you guys buy from me is going to last you a whole lot longer. So actually lint rolling is a very crucial step to making t-shirts. So next I'm going to grab this alignment tool, and you put it around the collar, and this tool right here, it has like a ruler on the end and everything. This is going to make sure that I get the design for your t-shirt or hoodie perfectly centered on the garment. Don't want it all crooked or anything like that. That would just be ridiculous. Once it's all good and straight and stuff, what I have down here is unwaxed, unbleached butcher paper, and this acts as a barrier between the heat platen that gets really hot and the carrier film that the design is on. Definitely want to have this in there, adjust the pressure, and down the press goes. So 15 seconds, 315 degrees, and then we have a t-shirt. Or I should say we kind of have a t-shirt. So after the first press, you got to let it sit for just a little bit so that carrier sheet cools down, and then you can peel it off. Then once you peel it off, we'll put the press back down for an additional 10 seconds, and then we have a t-shirt. Super spicy when it comes out, nice and hot, all that steam coming off of it. That's all the moisture evaporating that might have been trapped in the t-shirt. And here is your final product. This is what we're looking at for this particular t-shirt. So that is it, start to finish. That is how I make your guys' t-shirts and hoodies that you order from the merch store. I hope that you found this video super informative if you ever wanted to get into the t-shirt business. This is how it's done. Obviously there's more advanced and more automated ways that it can be done by, big companies. But for those of us that just have our own little merch stores and, little shops, this is how we do it. So I hope you liked this video. And for those of you that were asking me, how do I make your t-shirts and stuff? Well, now you know. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't done so yet, tap that subscribe button on your way out. Don't forget to visit the merch store. Link is in the description below. I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.